Nick was a wonderful boy, big and strong, 6 foot, 200 pounds, a good Greek boy. He also loved being a Greek warrior. His Marines, I didn't know until after he died, but they called Nick Leonidas because he was big and strong and he had abs, and they said he looked like the man in 300 in the movie. And he was the kind of kid that got along with everybody, and he loved people. And when our country was attacked on September 11th, he was 12. It had a big impact on him, and he said, "Dad, I'm gonna join the Marines." I was proud, but I was afraid. And I said to Nick, okay, that's great, but maybe you could be the embassy guard, the Marine that got. He said, "No, I'm gonna fight for my country." So when he turned 17, I had to sign the paper so he could go in. And I remember that moment. I looked at my wife, Lisa, and I said, should we do this? And she said, yes, this is what he wants. So we did. And he graduated high school and went right in the Marine Corps a week later. First was Iraq, yeah. He was 1st Battalion, 9th Marines, which is very famous, 1,000-man unit. They went to Iraq in 2008. And in April of 2008, Nick almost died when a suicide bomber drove their truck at his post. But 2 Marines stood in front and they shot the driver and they killed him. But the truck blew up and killed the 2 Marines, but it saved Nicholas. The president went and met the Marines that were saved by the 2 that died. They're called the Fortunate 50. Those 2 men, they saved 50 Marines. And we have a picture of the president shaking Nicholas's hand. And then about 6 months later, he was supposed to go on a cruise where the Marines go on the Navy ships and they go all around. And he did not want to. He wanted to go to Afghanistan. And I prayed that he wouldn't go. And then he called me one day and he said, "Dad, I got in, and thank God we went to see him because he didn't have time to come home. They were leaving on Saturday. And we drove to North Carolina and we visited him on the beach. Beautiful place right on the beach. And we had a couple of days with Nick before he left.
What were his thoughts about what the Marines were doing over there? What would he tell you about their work overseas?
Nick was quiet about his work. I was so proud, but he just, I remember asking Nick, "What do you think?" And he said, "Dad, I just do what we're told. We're Marines. We do what we're told." With Iraq, he told me that he was very proud to see the women walking around and to see the children going to school. He loved kids, and so he was proud that he helped to make that happen. In Afghanistan, we never really got to talk too much. He called home twice. One time, thank God, I answered and I talked to him. The next time he called, Lisa, my wife, talked to him. That was the last time. And he said, "Don't worry about me, Mom. I'm living my dream." So that was the last time we ever heard his voice. On the day that he died, his truck drove over a bomb. They were trying to save some Marines that were calling for help. So Nick was the boss. He was the commander. He told the driver to go, and they went over a bomb. And the driver, Jeremy, he died. The gunner, Dominic, he lost his leg. And Nick was trapped. And it took a while to get him out, but they got him out and they flew him to the hospital. But there was no real hospital. It was just a tent. And of course, I didn't know. But one of the doctors came to see me on Christmas, and he said, "I want you to know your son never gave up. We kept saying, this kid should die. He had so many injuries, but he wouldn't give up. They kept giving him blood and blood and blood. They would take blood out of their arms because they didn't have enough blood. So it took 3 hours. So I know that he never gives up." And then when Nick died in July of 2009, the worst day of my life, the president and his wife came to see us. So he came to Massachusetts, and he met my wife and my 3 other children, Alexander, and my daughters, Elizabeth and Ashlyn. And he gave us the biggest hug. And he wanted to know, what should we do about Afghanistan? Because this was in August of 2009. The president was deciding, should we keep fighting or not? And we said, you keep fighting. And we finish. We never quit. And he said to me, he looked right in my eye and he said, when I make the decision, I'll think of Nick.
And you also don't give up, because I cannot understand your position. I would never be able to. But you don't give up speaking about, not only Nick, speaking about the Marines and speaking about all these ideals that Nick was standing for. I really admire how you're able to do that.
Nick is my hero.
Mm-hmm.
That's my job,
Mm-hmm.
to remember them and honor them. And you know, it goes back to my Greek heritage. It goes back to being from Massachusetts. I've met a lot of Gold Star parents. You know, if you lose a son or daughter in the United States in battle, you get a Gold Star. So that's what this is. This is a Gold Star. So I'm a Gold Star father. And it's our duty to carry on. Now, some can't. Some just are quiet. Some stay home. Some can't. And so I speak for them. I try.
Today is Nick's birthday.
Yes.
What do you think would be a gift that he would ask if he was here for all of us to do? Maybe support the Marines?
That would be something he would say, but the first thing he would say is, live your life, you know, enjoy your freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So many men and women have, from Greeks to Marines to especially Massachusetts men, you know, we have a proud tradition of fighting for our country, and he would just say, live your dream, you know, and be free and have fun. My grandparents come from Mani, so my grandfather is Efstratios, that's who I'm named after, Exakos, and my grandmother was Paraskevula, and I've never been to Greece, you know, so since Nick died, I've run 2 marathons. I ran the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, I ran the Boston Marathon in Boston, and my goal now is to go to Athens and run the marathon where it all started. I want to do that someday in Nick's memory and carry my flags and return home.